I want to start by clearing the air on something. If you've spent the last 1 week, 1 month, or even the last 1 year avoiding a difficult conversation, a phone call, or even a project, I need you to stop calling yourself lazy. Lazy people don't feel guilty, and lazy people are actually relaxed. If you were lazy, you'd be enjoying your downtime, but you aren't enjoying it, are you? You're scrolling with a knot in your stomach, you're cleaning the kitchen while your brain is screaming at you about that unopened email. If you are avoiding something and you feel that constant low grade hum of anxiety, that isn't you being lazy. That's you trying to protect yourself. Avoidance is a sophisticated survival strategy. It's your brain's way of saying, that thing over there, it carries a risk of emotional collapse. And I am not sure we can survive that right now. Think of it as an emotional allergy. Your brain has tagged that task as a pathogen. It thinks if you engage with it, you'll be overwhelmed by shame, judgment, or the crushing weight of your expectations. So, today we are going to stop looking at the symptoms and we are going to look at the threat your brain is trying to keep you from, because you can't time manage your way out of a survival response, and you can't use a planner to fix a nervous system that thinks it's being haunted by a deadline. One of the biggest things that avoidance protects you from is the exposure of truth. For many of us, as long as we haven't started the thing, we can maintain the fantasy that we'll be great at it. We live in the maybe. Maybe I am a great writer, I just haven't written the book yet. Maybe I am a great leader, I just haven't applied for the promotion. Avoidance allows you to keep your potential pristine. If you don't start the business, you can tell yourself you're a brilliant entrepreneur in the waiting. But the moment you start, you might realize you're just a beginner. You might realize that you are average for a while. You might realize that your current skills don't match your high taste. Your avoidance is protecting your ego from the pain of being novice. It is safer to be a potential success than it is to be a visible work in progress. We stay stuck because the idea of us is currently more comfortable than the reality of us. And admitting you don't know what you are doing is a vulnerable act. And avoidance is the shield that keeps you from having to feel vulnerability. Let's look at the biology. Avoidance is often a response to executive overwhelm. When you look at something and your brain perceives it as a massive jagged mountain, your nervous system triggers a freeze response. And it's not just a thought, it's physiological shutdown. When the load of a task feels too heavy, whether that is because of its complexity or the emotional weight, your prefrontal cortex literally loses its power. This is the part of your brain that plans, sequences, and executes. When it goes offline, you lose the ability to see step one. All you see is the whole thing, and the whole thing feels like it's going to crush you. In that moment, your brain is trying to protect you from sensory meltdown. This is why you end up staring at a wall or scrolling for hours. It's a form of dissociation. Your body has decided that the load of the task is a threat to your stability. So it numbs you out. It takes you away from the threat by making you foggy. It's not like you don't care. It's that your body has pulled the emergency brake. When it comes to avoiding people and conversations, what you are really protecting is a false sense of harmony. Many avoiders are terrified of the aftermath of a truth. You think, if I say no to this person, or if I tell them how I really feel, I won't be able to control their reactions. And if you can't control their reaction, you can't guarantee your safety. Your avoidance is trying to protect you from the unpredictable. It's a way of staying in control by staying silent. You choose the slow burn of resentment over the quick fire of conflict. You are protecting yourself from the discomfort of being the bad guy in someone else's story, even if it means you have to be the martyr in your own. By avoiding the conversation, you keep the peace between you, but destroy the peace within you. Now, this is a deep one. Sometimes avoidance is protecting us from being fully known. To be known is to be seen, and to be seen is to be judged. If you avoid conversations or keep people at arm's length by maybe being the busy one or being the funny one, then there's a high chance you're protecting yourself from the possibility of being found out. Now, you might wonder, Being found out as what? Usually as someone who is unworthy, someone who is too much, or someone who is fundamentally broken. In this case, avoidance is a distance management tool. By avoiding true intimacy, you are making sure that nobody ever gets close enough to leave you. You are choosing safe loneliness over risky connection. It's a preemptive strike against rejection. You reject the world before it can reject you. You stay in the shallow end of the pool because the deep end requires you to take off the life vest of your defenses. Avoidance tells you if you don't let people know the real you, they can't hate the real you. But it also means they can't love the real you either. We often talk about the fear of failure, but we rarely talk about how avoidance protects us from the fear of success. Success is terrifying because it demands a new version of you. If you apply for that promotion and get it, if you finish that project, or if you heal that relationship, life changes. And change, even good change, it's a threat to the current you. If you succeed, people expect more from you. You'll have to maintain that new level. Avoidance is protecting you from the responsibility of greatness. It keeps you small and manageable. Your brain thinks, if we stay right here in this mediocre loop, we know what to expect. But if we succeed, we are in an uncharted territory. So you stay stuck, not because you are afraid to fail, but because you are afraid of the new you, who won't have the excuses of staying in the same cycle or in the same loop. Avoidance is the anchor that keeps you from drifting into a life that you aren't sure you are ready to lead. There is also a very specific protection that avoidance offers. It protects you from the grief of the final version. As long as you are avoiding finishing something, that thing is still alive with possibilities. It could be anything. The moment you finish, the moment you send that draft, the moment you have that conversation, the moment you make a choice, it becomes real and final. And final means it might not be perfect. Avoidance protects us from the grief of the imperfect reality. We would rather live in the maybe than the inadequate reality. By not finishing, we never have to mourn the fact that the result didn't match the vision in our heads. Avoidance keeps the dream alive by never allowing it or never letting it breathe in the real world. It protects you from the disappointment of being humanly limited. So, if you've made it this far, you are feeling a little bit exposed, and that's okay. I am not here to give you a 5 step productivity hack because we both know that doesn't work for this type of deep rooted avoidance. What I want you to do instead is to start lowering your stakes. Seriously, is stop trying to conquer the mountain today. Your brain thinks that mountain is a death sentence. Instead, just go and touch a rock. So if you are avoiding an email, don't try and write the perfect response. Just open the compose window and type their address. That's it. By doing this, you're proving to your nervous system that beginning doesn't mean dying. Now, something else that I want you to do is when you find yourself actively avoiding something, I want you to pause and ask, what am I afraid will happen if I finish this? Or what am I afraid will happen if I do this? Once you name it, it loses that monster in the closet energy because it's just a feeling and you can handle a feeling. We have to practice being slightly uncomfortable. And by this, I don't mean like you have to be fearless. All you have to be is you have to be willing to be 5% braver than your fear.